Make sure you are seated comfortably, your body relaxed. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your breath, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your lungs. Allow any tensions and worries to slip away, with each out-breath releasing all negativity. With each in-breath, draw in purifying, clean air. Slowly let all outside concerns fade away. The space around you begins to darken as your attention moves inwards. Everything fades away, leaving only a quiet, peaceful darkness. You rest a moment in the darkness, feeling yourself safe and secure. The darkness spreads out in all directions, vast and silent. You rest within the great void, Ginunga Gap, the emptiness before creation, before the beginning of time and the birth of space. Within this void, all things will come into being. In the very distance, on either side of you, you are aware of the realms of fire and ice, so far away you can barely perceive them. Through their union, force and form will come into being and the worlds will be set in motion. It is in this place that you will meet Jera. In the centre of the void you see a small light, a tiny spark of vitality. You call the name of Jera 3 times to bring it into being. Jera, Through the power of your voice, the spark of light transforms, glowing a rich and velvety green and transforming into the shape of Jera. It grows larger and larger, shining brightly in the darkness, steadily moving towards you until it comes to a rest, waiting for you to enter. Slowly you pass through the rune and into the realm beyond. You find yourself standing in a garden. The air is cool and crisp beneath a clear blue sky. The night's frost has turned to dew upon the grass-covered pathways that run neatly between a series of brown earthen beds. Although it is cold, you are well protected with solid gardening boots, warm mittens and a snug-fitting jacket. Beyond the beds you can see the bare branches of the orchard and, in the very distance, vines snake their way up the solid garden wall. It is still and peaceful in the garden, and your attention is drawn to a small movement ahead of you where a bright-breasted robin sits preening himself upon the handle of a garden fork. He looks over his shoulder as, behind you, the door of the shed creaks open and the keeper of the garden emerges from her inner sanctum. You turn. She is round and rosy-cheeked, with twinkling eyes. Her hands are calloused from work, and beneath her skirts you see boots identical to your own. She smiles brightly at you and nods to the robin. You sense an anticipation in the air, as if the garden itself was eager to set to work now its beloved mistress is at hand. She smiles in approval, but raises her finger to signal that the stillness of the morning is not yet to be disturbed. Slowly she closes her eyes and places her hands at an angle to each other over her stomach, each forming one arc of the Jera rune, so that it rests with its central axis at her navel. She seems to be listening, or watching, or perhaps both. As she waits, the sun brightens, turning the green of the grass to a vibrant emerald, caressing the rich soil and reaching further down into its depths, stirring the lifeblood of the trees and turning the robin's breast blazing red. Then it is done. You are barely even aware of how it happens, but soon you and the mistress are hard at work, churning the soil with your forks and spades, hoeing and weeding, pruning back last year's growth, planting out new trees and shrubs, measuring neat rows across the beds with pegs and string. Then the sowing begins, The mistress brings out packets and pots full of seeds. She tells you of the plants that will grow from them as you run them gently through your fingers, admiring their textures and colours. Together you plant the seeds in tiny pots, gently covering them over and packing them down. No detail is too small for the mistress. She knows every inch of the garden, every tree, every root, every seed that you plant together. The two of you greet the first spring flowers as you trot backwards and forwards from the glasshouse. As the sun grows in strength, planting out may begin, and you coax the green shoots out of their pots and plant them in their pre-marked beds, gently placing glass cloches over the tender plants. As the spring showers nurture the seeds, you help the mistress organise the sheds and glasshouses, racing out whenever the sky is clear to pluck the weeds from the beds. Each morning the mistress greets you with new tasks to be done, finally judging when the time is right for each seed, or when the next batch of seedlings is ready for planting out. As you dig and plant, you feel the life of the garden bursting forth as the brown beds of winter unfurl the secrets that the soil held deep within. The garden is alive with colour and growth as the blossom on the trees gives way to shooting green leaves. Your arms are already stronger from working the garden, and now they grow firm with muscles as you draw buckets up from the well each day to water the garden. Your hard work is rewarded many times over, with each leaf bursting forth, each flower blossoming into life. Your mittens are long discarded now, and you pace the garden with your sleeves rolled up, a cap upon your head to protect you from the sun. You feel like a plant yourself as your skin grows brown. Your body is nourished by the first of the harvest, succulent baby potatoes and peas served with mint and butter, fresh green salads, and the very first strawberries, sweet, sticky plums, garlics, onions, and delicious artichoke. As the summer progresses, the garden gives more of its bounty, and you and the mistress are rewarded with glowing red currants, juicy raspberries, pods popping with beans, and beds full of marrows, celery, cabbage, and every type of vegetable you can imagine. The air is buzzing with insect life as together you begin the apple harvest, resting the ladder against the sturdy trunks of the trees and filling basket after basket with luscious fruit. In the corner of the garden, the compost heap grows taller as you carefully layer it up, ready for nature to do her magic. As the dusky evenings draw in, it is time to move the tender plants back into the glasshouse. The work of the harvest continues as root vegetables are packed away for cool storage and the soft fruits are collected for use in preserves. The autumn harvest is a glorious one, and though the garden is quietening, you know that you will be sustained by your stored vegetables, preserves, wines, and spirits. During the day you are busy packing the pots in straw coats and digging over the soil. In the dark evenings you sit by the bonfire, eating chestnuts and potatoes slowly baked in its heat. The shed is surrounded by jack-o'-lanterns with candles flickering behind their carved faces. Now the garden grows quiet. Heather and holly dapple it with colour, while the evergreen trees come into their own and the smooth white bark of the silver birch gleams. You tramp over the pathways, checking that all is well. There is no more to do. One fine morning as you reach the shed, you see the robin sitting on his spade, preening himself, just as he was almost a year ago. You hear the door creak open, and the mistress of the garden emerges. She still has her rosy glow, her boots peeking out from under her skirts. She nods at you in satisfaction, and you realise that your journey together is coming to an end. You look at the quiet, sleeping garden, wondering what it will be like in the coming year. The mistress approaches you and raises one finger, then, gently, she traces a Jera rune upon your stomach. You feel its glow as a warmth within you, rising upwards and outwards from your core. This warmth expands outwards in all directions, and as it moves outwards you see the life beneath the garden, the bulbs nestled in their beds, the deep roots of the trees still drawing strength from the earth while their sap withdraws safely into the heart of their trunks, the insects settled under stones, the earthworm busy churning the soil. You see that life is already preparing to commence a new cycle, drawing energy in through this time of rest and renewal. The rune at your belly whispers that it is not yet time, but that time will come. Then it is peaceful once more, and you stand facing the mistress, You wish you had something to give her in thanks, and, looking at her calloused hands, you pull off your own mittens and place them in hers. She smiles and thanks. Whether she will wear them or not seems unimportant as she gives you a warm hug and a pat on the shoulder. Then she turns and goes back into her shed. You wonder if she too will sleep through the depth of the winter. As if in response, she emerges once more with a single candle flickering gently under the white sky. She places it on the ground, and as the snow begins to fall, she nods to you. You take the candle and draw a Jera rune with its flame. The candlelight draws a Jera rune of pure gold, shining with warmth in the depths of winter. Once the rune doorway is complete, you hand the candle back to the mistress of the garden with thanks. Slowly you walk towards the Jera rune. As you pass through it, you feel its power caress you as you pass out of the realm of Jera into darkness once more. Standing in the darkness, you give thanks to the rune for its lessons and energy. You watch as it fades away, leaving you in darkness, ready to return to your physical form. Slowly you let your attention return to your body, feeling the darkness around you start to fade. You let your awareness expand to the space around you as the darkness recedes. You feel yourself centered within your body, your attention focused on your physical presence, your breath, and your heartbeat. The Jera rune has gone, and you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing yourself back to your working space. Take your time, and when you're ready, open your eyes.